Hi, I'm Bailey. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Sakura.
Great. Take a seat. So, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. So, what brought you here today?
Well, I have hypertension, and I've been diagnosed with that for a while, and so I was just had a few questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were you hoping to get out of this appointment?
I just want to manage it at this point. I'm really young, and I shouldn't be on medication this young. So, I just want to see if there's like a better way to manage it, with the food I eat.
Okay. So you were told that you have hypertension,
Yes.
but you want to manage it without medication.
Right.
Okay. So, would you mind telling me about your eating patterns?
Sure. Let's see. For like breakfast, I'll have a couple eggs, and then I'll have bacon. I'll have toast with butter, and usually like a good cup of coffee with like sugar creamer. And then for lunch, in the middle of the day, I think I'll have like either leftovers for lunch, or sometimes I'll like have, just a snack like salted nuts or some iced tea or something. And then for dinner, I'll have like steak and potatoes and gravy, and sometimes, well, I don't know, sometimes our favorite's like pork chops, and then, green beans and mushrooms and gravy, and then maybe some spaghetti and meatballs. That's a favorite.
Okay, so you like a lot of meat products.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So what influences these food choices?
I don't know. Maybe I just used to, my dad, he used to hunt when I was younger, and we just got used to eating like, venison or, a lot of steaks, a lot of meats, and he made a lot of gravies, and potatoes and eggs were pretty much a regular part of our meals. So I think I'm just used to it. And then the kids really like it too. The kids are like, I have a girl that's 5 and a boy that's 7. So they're pretty much used to it by now.
Okay. So what's a typical day or week in terms of activity for you?
Well, activity. Well, I drive my kids to school every day and back, and then, well, they're not really active. We have a TV in their room, and they pretty much hang out there, and they have lots of toys. But as far as activity, I walk the dog for like 15 minutes a day.
Okay.
That's about it.
So, if I got this right, you eat a lot of heavier meals, a lot of grains and dairy products, and a lot of animal products, I guess I would say. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. You really enjoy that. So you're not. Would it be correct to say you're not a fan of vegetables?
Well, I don't particularly eat them a lot. I like green beans with my casseroles, and they have like pastas in it and cheese. Let's see.
Okay.
So I don't really think I eat them by themselves.
Okay. So and then also in terms of activity, you aren't highly active, but you do get outside and walk your dog and play with your kids.
Right.
Things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of your current lifestyle patterns, what do you find positive about them?
Because I like to cook, we get to spend a lot of time together, me and my family.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm a stay-at-home mom, so there's lots of activities we do at home, so that's the fun part.
So your family is really important to you?
Yes.
So what about your current lifestyle do you think is negative? Are there things that you find negative?
Well, I won't eat something if it doesn't taste good, and it's not really safe in my neighborhood, so I don't get out much. Well, I suppose I could drive the kids to the park maybe on a day where, let's see, I'd make time for it. Maybe do like a smaller dinner, a quick dinner, and then we'll, head to the park. But that seems like, not being able to just walk outside and go for a walk. I think that's a good keeping me from going out.
Okay. So, is there anything about your diet that you think is negative?
Yeah, I heard that it's really bad to eat salt, and I have like a lot of salt. I think because like my salt shaker is on my table, and then I have a salt shaker on top of my fridge, and then I keep a salt, in my cabinet when I cook. So that's a lot of salt.
Okay. So
I heard it's bad for people with hypertension.
Okay, so you do believe there are things in your diet that you need to work on, that you definitely have too much salt available, and you rely on it like pretty heavily, would you say?
Yeah.
To flavor your food?
Right.
Okay. So about your hypertension, what was it like? How did you feel when you were diagnosed with that?
Well, that's a big emotional thing for me because like my dad got it, and there was no more trips. There was no more camping trips. He got really heavy and couldn't really move around. So I think for me, my biggest motivator for coming pretty much and changing up my way of eating is because I don't want my kids to be left out like that. So I think that's my biggest motivator.
Okay. What matters most about your diagnosis? Like, what's the biggest thing that? I guess what I'm saying is your family your biggest motivator?
For sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's the most important thing that will be affected by your diagnosis.
Right.
So, okay. So if you're interested, I have some different topics that can pertain to your health goal of not having hypertension.
Right.
And you can pick something that you're interested in working on and we can discuss it.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Sure.
Okay. So here's this handout. So there's some ideas that we could focus on so that you don't get overwhelmed. You could eat more vegetables, or fruits and vegetables in your diet. You could be more aware of your sodium intake by checking like nutrition labels. And then, as hard as it is, you could use your salt shaker a little bit less when you're at home. So rather than adding more sodium to what's already probably has sodium.
Right.
And then you could also increase your activity and reduce stress through that.
Okay, well, it's a big change, so let me see. If I wanted to focus on one thing, probably be adding more fruits and vegetables.
Okay. Sounds good. So if you were to add more fruits and vegetables in your diet, how would your life be different?
I'd get the vitamins and minerals that, keep people healthy.
Okay. And so if this helped to contribute lowering your blood pressure,
That's true.
and how would that affect your life?
Well, I could be more active with my children and, just get them used to eating better. Get them used to eating, fruits and vegetables.
Okay. So you think that reducing hypertension will help you live longer and be with your children?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. So how else would this make your life better?
It would really get me more motivated to try new foods. Because I know there's a farmer's market close by our house. Well, not close by, but I could drive. And I don't know, maybe the kids will like to pick, a fruit that they like or vegetable.
Oh, nice. Okay. That sounds like a really good How might this particular change get you what you want? So like, how can this help you achieve your goal? This health change.
I would probably say, maybe making little steps would change it. Yeah, make me get used to it.
Like, what are some ideas you have for this?
Maybe have corn on the cob instead of the casserole with green beans and cheese and pasta.
Okay. So, in terms of food, since we're focusing on increasing your fruits and vegetables, we probably should look at what you are eating and what kind of foods you feel you don't have control around, like things like you have a hard time managing what you eat.
Sure.
So, like, what foods do you feel like you have a hard time managing?
I think I have a hard time managing like the meat that we consume in the house. When I go shopping, I usually get ground beef, sausages, pork chops, and then the steak, and then I eat them pretty regularly. So.
Okay, so you think you might have too much meat in your diet?
Sure.
Okay. Are there times that you eat for reasons other than hunger?
Well, I would have to say maybe because I see my children, really excited about maybe hanging out with me, and then I make them like some fries, and then give them like dipping sauce, and then we just have a good time. So I think that makes it more comfortable for me to be able to just splurge on what we're used to.
So, the foods that you make and prepare for your family are like, would you say like feel-good foods?
Yes.
Like comfort foods, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what don't you like about the food choices you make?
Well, I'm kind of eating the same way I grew up, and it just, because I got hypertension at a young age, I think that contributed to getting it at an early age, so I think that had contributed a lot.
Okay, so you think you developed these habits through like culture, or maybe just like family, like your family taught you your ways?
Yeah.
So what concerns do you have about what you're doing now?
Well, if I continue to eat the way we do, I'll just get sicker. And, if I have to have like heart surgery, like my dad, leave my kids without someone to take care of them, and that's something that I wanted not to happen.
So you understand the implications of having hypertension and what they can lead to?
Yeah, pretty sure.
What's your idea of that? What is your knowledge of that?
Well, I know that I hear that foods with like high salt content and like red meats are probably, especially the fatty parts, the stuff that I really like to eat, have a lot of like cholesterol, and so that doesn't help. And then the high blood pressure, I hear that eating salt is bad for it.
So you understand that cholesterol and salt are contributing to your health condition in your diet? Okay.
Yeah.
So how is what you're doing right now not working for you?
Well, I should get out of the house more, be more active, and then also, buy more fruit, cook, because I love to cook, so it'd be nice to be motivated to manage my blood sugar. or my blood pressure. Sorry.
Okay. So you're willing to make some changes in your diet to reach your health goal, and you're wanting to reduce the meat that you're eating in your diet,
Yeah.
as well as the salt content,
Mm-hmm.
and then add more fruits and vegetables throughout your meals.
Right.
So how motivated are you on a scale from 1 to 10 to make these changes?
I would say about 7.
Okay. What would have to be different for this importance to be higher?
Probably purchasing the fruits and vegetables. And planning to get out of the house and be more active.
So what are some barriers then to making these changes?
Well, seeing meat on sale and me getting it just for the habit, bulking and getting enough food for all of us.
So you're worried about finances with food?
Yeah, because I usually have, a budget of like maybe $200 a month. So actually, when I go, I'll see meat for sale and then or cheap, and then I just get a bulk.
Okay. Do you think you can overcome these barriers and make these changes?
Sure. If I get fruits and vegetables instead of all that meat, then it would benefit my health and the kids.
So if you want, I can give you some help later on in the session after we talk about some more things about ways that you can overcome these barriers if you're comfortable talking about that.
Sure.
Just so you know. Okay. So you're willing to make these changes, but you have some things in your mind that might be in the way, which we can go over. And you feel like you're at a 7 out of 10, and you're aware that that your lifestyle isn't working for you and it's contributing to your diagnosis, and you know the things that you need to change. Okay. So my question for you is, how do you think you'll go about to make this change?
I could maybe write down my meal plan for the week and then see where I can substitute it for fruits and vegetables.
That's a good idea. Okay. Do you have any other ideas in terms of activity?
Sure. In doing that, I could take the kids to the market with me.
Okay, so you want to take the kids to the farmer's market and have them pick out fruits and vegetables, maybe?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So with your permission, I would like to give you some ideas about ways that you can make these changes. So would you be interested in hearing some ideas?
Sure.
So here's this handout I have with a bunch of ideas and tips. So how does that look to you? What ideas do you have about these changes in terms of adding more fruits and vegetables to your diet?
Well, it looks like I could top the sandwiches and pizza and casseroles with vegetables.
Yeah, it's a good idea. What else would you like to know about adding more fruits and vegetables in your diet?
Order do some of freeze good in the freezer.
Yeah.
And that'll work.
So you're concerned about making them last if you don't use them right away?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there's methods in which you can preserve the vegetables and freeze them so that they keep their color. It's called blanching. I'm not heard of that. So yeah, that's very possible, and it's a good way to like keep the life of your vegetables and make them last. So, let's see. Do you have any more questions about this?
No, I think I've.
In terms of
you've answered all.
meal plan?
No, I think you've answered all.
Oh, good. What do you make of this information?
Well, I think it's kind of exciting because then the kids get to be involved with the food I buy and cook for them, which is something they're used to.
Yeah.
We're used to enjoying the food together, but now they get to go and have a little activity with it.
Okay. So your motivation is to have more time with your kids, as well as. So, anyways, so you're excited to spend more time with your children, and you can use this method of having them pick out the vegetables and prepare the food with you, for them to actually eat those kind of foods.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. Cool. So, would you be interested in hearing other options on making changes?
Sure.
Okay. So we talked a little bit about salt, but just so you understand, sodium is a big reason why your blood pressure is so high. And if you simply just read food labels on the different products that you buy, you could very easily reduce your salt intake, which could in turn decrease your blood pressure. So choosing options that have less sodium, like less processed meats and cheeses and baked goods, can greatly decrease your sodium intake. And then also, obviously, like decreasing the amount of salt that you add manually. So you could use, there's different seasonings out there you could use that don't have salt in them, so that you can have all the flavor, but you don't have the sodium.
Okay.
How does that sound to you?
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And then in terms of activity, do you mind if I give you some tips about that?
Sure.
Increasing activity. So just so you know, blood pressure is a result of stress, and exercising can reduce that stress, and it also physiologically lowers your blood pressure. So I know you walk your dog and like play with your children, but maybe you could spend a certain amount of time a day trying to like do some kind of like cardio. How does that sound to you?
Sounds like maybe while the kids are in school, I could do something for myself. Like
Okay,
that.
that sounds like a good idea. So, would you be interested in setting up an experiment to see if these changes are worth keeping up?
Sure.
Okay. So what would you want to try and do?
Probably back when I go out to the grocery store, purchase some fruits and vegetables.
Okay. What would be important factors to consider as you go about making this change?
If it's in the budget, I can go ahead and substitute some of the meats and salt for better tasting food like fruits and vegetables, and adding them into my regular meals.
Okay. How will you know if this experiment is working?
I probably will have more energy and
Hi. Are you guys here for the CGSA study group? Or?
No, we can. Sure.